came back and took that money.
She took that money.
And bought a condo down at Pawleys Island.
Oh, really?
So she has a condo at Pawleys Island. She lived there for a year or so. Now she's back in Ohio, lives in Columbus, doing work there, but kept the condo down at Pawleys Island.
Okay.
Jeff was telling me today, said, there's a lot of great golf courses down there.
Oh, there's a ton. There's a ton.
Yeah.
My dad, you know, because my brother and I have beat on my dad for years. For the longest time, when he had a few of the guys, they hated driving. Like, we drive 9 hours so that we can drive an hour each way to play golf. Yeah. So that southern tip, that's why he very seldom will ever play more than one a year. And a lot of times he'll go multiple years before he puts the one in because he doesn't feel like dealing with the beating. But as I was telling him, because he was looking at this year, because this year they're playing.
Well, Good evening, everyone, and welcome to high school basketball tonight on WILE and YRP TV streaming. The video to you tonight, it is the Guernsey County Brawl, Bobcats and the Colts, round one. From the corral at Meadowbrook High School, Bill Kafuri and Adam Davenport, as the Bobcats bring in their 3-4 record, taking on the host Colts at 5-2. An exciting JV contest as the Bobcat JV jumped out on top and were able to maintain a double-digit lead most of the way down the stretch and came out with a win that it'll be a much harder task, Mr. Davenport, for their cohorts on the varsity.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that just like any Cambridge-Meadowbrook game, you expect not to have a game that's decided by double digits. You're expecting somewhat of a knockdown drag out for the entire game, something that goes back and forth and really comes to the final moments to really be decided. I think that tonight, the neat thing is both teams have had a little bit of a break, right? Neither one is coming off of playing 2 days ago. They've had some time, and you always wonder when you get a few days off around the holidays what kind of rust actually forms. Do you have a hard practice in between the game and Christmas to try to knock that off, or are you going to come into this game a little stiff and a little slow? And so whichever team I think had a harder practice leading up to it might actually be in the best frame of mind and ready to go from the start.
Yeah, you wonder, different coaches have different philosophies as to what you're going to get into, and unusually this game this year has two first-year coaches that are involved, and Coach Kyle Pertucci and Taryn Jarrett for the Colts, but both of them have been around basketball enough. So, what does your team need? Do you need to take more time and shoot? Do you need to just work on drills? Is it more about playing defense and maybe putting in a couple of different wrinkles over the holiday? Well,
and to that point, you look at it, and we've talked about this in the past, where whenever you're a first-year coach, you're trying, especially until the new year, you are trying to figure out what the sum of the parts are that you're playing with, and you're trying to establish what kind of a program identity are you trying to create, right? And so unless you're in that rare space where you succeed and take over from your mentor, your former coach, where you're going to put your stamp on it, but really you're trying to continue what they had going, this is not that scenario for either one of them. You're stepping in, bringing a totally different identity and a totally different priorities to the table. So it's a great time. You get the first half of the year before the new year comes to really play with the parts, figure out what you have, and really what you're really trying to do is get off to a fast start into January as you really start getting into conference play.
We were talking earlier about the history of this game. Of course, it's been going a long time since Meadowbrook High School was consolidated and formed in the 60s. The Bobcats lead that series 77-40, but a lot of those Colt victories have come in the last 4, 5, 6 years. They've owned the Bobcats, including 3 times a year ago, and when the Cats can play to their ability and maybe bring the Colts down a notch, it's close as they played them last year, 45-44 at Cambridge, with the Colts righted the ship. They won 58-42, and then in the tournament, 45-26. Certainly the better team a year ago, and the Colts have probably the better team at this point this year, and maybe one of the better teams in this part, better players, I should say, in this part of the state in Trey Singleton, who surpassed 1,000 points for his career, averaging about 25 a game, and he scored as many as 40 this year, so he's going to get his.
Yeah, it's such an interesting situation. Number one, you're right. Historically, two teams that have had great competitive balance. Cambridge does have the lead in terms of the amount of wins compared to losses. But there comes a point, right, where the older people like you and I can't always say, well, back in the old days, this is how it was. When you look at really how the Meadowbrook Colts program has been for the past 5-6 years, they certainly have been the class of this area. And you have to give all the credit to what they've been able to do. What I get really excited about watching tonight is very few times do you get to watch a game where you have a player, in this case in Singleton, that is a true game changer, right? Every team that you go and watch will always have somebody who scores 14, 15, 16 a game. Everybody has them. The difference is when you find somebody who literally can put 30 up on you and at the same time can do it while leading a team to consistent wins. That, to me, is the most special type of player. And so when I look at it and I think about tonight, I think really both teams are going to be coaching and thinking about the same problem, which is how do I handle or take care of business on the one main focal point. And maybe this is something that I can expand on after our first break. But really, there's two schools of thought as to how you manage a star player when you're trying to play against them. And we can kind of look at that.
Yeah, I maybe misspoke earlier. I think I called him Trey. There was an outstanding basketball player here called Trey Singleton. Jake Singleton this year for the Colts is a senior and one of the top seniors in the state and an all-state player a year ago, trying to repeat that again this season. Our pregame here at the Corral will continue tonight as the Cats and the Colts do battle. We'll be back right after these messages.
ABC Sports presents high school basketball. Tonight's game is brought to you by Doan Ford, West 40 Auto Sales, WB Green Insurance, Surgeon Construction, The Rogers Company, Stop 9 Church of Christ, Southeastern Med, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, Valentine Insurance, Bethany Glass CPA, and Papa John's Pizza.
To the Corral, working with a lot of equipment tonight to try to stream this game and communicate with the station as well. We're working out some bugs here. Bear with us.
Listen, I'm sure it's going to be entertaining for those on the other side.
Oh my goodness, I'm working hard already tonight. I don't know if you can see me sweating yet, but that's just from climbing the steps up here. Bobcats and the Colts. Let's take a closer look at tonight's game and the starting lineups, as we expect the Colts to probably start this way, and this is how they've started most of the season, and I'm giving Mike Snively, who's a colleague of ours, the credit for that. He gave me a lot of this information tonight, but the Colts, a lot of experience in a couple of these guys. Drew Webster, 6'3", senior, averaging about 7 a game. He's that blue-collar guy that does all the little things that don't show up in the scorebook at the end of the night. Romeo Dorsey, 6'4", senior, has only played organized ball for a couple of years, and so he's still developing, but a very, very good athlete on the floor. And of course, the guy that does everything for this team, and that's Jake Singleton, 5'11", senior, putting up 25 a game. He can score 40. He can score 14 if that's what his team needs him to do, but he's capable of doing all that. Josh Hupp, 5'11", senior, and Trayvon Mayo, a 5'11" senior as well. So they've got some guys that can shoot. And talking about shooters, really, Singleton, looking at some of his stats that were provided for, shooting 52% outside the arc. So you know if you're a defender on him, you just can't give him open jumpers. But if you tighten up on him, he has a great first step, little head and shoulder fake, and he's by you going to the hoop. How do you defend a guy that good?
Well, you know, so there's two different ways of looking at this, right? So the first option is do you ultimately take the chances and say we're going to let him get as many points as he can get, right? And we're going to shut everybody else out. And when I look at that, knowing his ceiling, knowing that he has a 40-point game under his belt, I don't think that that's the right approach, because it's easy to say somebody that we're going to let him get as much as possible and nobody else gets anything. But if he scores 45, you've had games where you haven't got 45. So you can't necessarily fall back on that one. So then your other option is to say we're going to do everything we can to stop him and force everybody else to score instead. And so you look at that and you say, okay, well, if we go down that path, first thing is do they have anybody else, as in Meadowbrook? Does Meadowbrook have anybody else who can step up and help? And you look at Dorsey being a double-figure scorer. You mentioned Webster at 7 a game and Hupp at 6. So you have three seniors else in the lineup that can go up and put up points for you to at least help out. So if you're Cambridge, the next step is when you're in practice, you're looking at guys who maybe are good athletes but don't play as many minutes, and you say, look, you got a weak ramp up. Your job is to face guard him the entire game. And if you think about the last game you and I called, which half the audience for today would have been paying attention to, and that was the Cambridge-Maysville game, we talked about how Maysville did such a good job of making it hard for Cambridge to breathe. Everything took effort to do. And so if you're looking at Singleton, your only chance of those two options of trying to slow him down is to go as deep as you can go on your bench and saying that from every step that he takes inside the lines, you are to be on him, making it difficult for him to breathe. And you hope that by doing that, by about the third quarter, you can start to wear out the legs. Otherwise, saddle up because it could be a big night.
Bobcat starters tonight expected to be Parker Long, 6-foot senior Cole Parsons, 6'2 senior Caden Moore, 5'10 junior. He started to pick up the pace, shooting his threes a little bit better. Caleb Bond, 5'11 senior, and he's led the Bobcats in scoring throughout the first part of the season. And we expect Davion Jeffrey to get the starting nod tonight in place of Jonas Stanberry, and he might be that guy that ends up athletically with a little bit more size, trying to stop Singleton a little bit tonight, or at least slow him down.
Yeah, so we talked about with the Meadowbrook plan, our Cambridge's plan defensively. If you're Meadowbrook, you're doing the same thing with Bond. But with Bond, you're saying, hey, we haven't necessarily seen the rest of your team show that they can score. So we are going to put everything on you and force everybody else. And what we've seen from Cambridge recently has been, okay, Caden Moore had a great second half against Maysville. Is that a spark that continues to keep going? And to your point, Davion Jeffrey was probably the most explosive player for Cambridge last game. Does he take another step forward? Again, if those two things don't happen, it could be a long night.
About time to get this show on the road. The national anthem coming up here. These messages coming up for you. We'll be back right.
Perfect games. But there's no such thing as a perfect church. Churches are made up of imperfect people, people who have had their hearts broken and their dreams shattered. Church is for people who need hope, who need forgiveness, and who need to learn to forgive. Church is for people like you and me. Join us at Stop 9 Church of Christ, 9:30 Sunday morning. The imperfect church where you can find God's perfect love. And celebrate the victory God has won for you.
When it's game night, let Papa John's Pizza on Southgate Parkway feed your team after the game. Hey, this is Shannon. You can create your pizza with all your favorite toppings, or pick one of our specialty pizzas like the Super Hawaiian, the Philly Cheesesteak, the Works, or the Fiery Buffalo Chicken. Don't forget we also have chicken poppers, wings, breadsticks, and cheese sticks too. Call 740-439-PAPA. That's 439-7272, or order from your phone at papajohns.com.
Welcome back to the Corral Meadowbrook High School for tonight's contest between the 3 and 4 Bobcats and their Road Blues and the home team, the Meadowbrook Colts. They got the whites on tonight with a little brown and orange trim. We want to thank tonight's sponsors, Papa John's, Jet Auto, Doan Ford, West 40 Auto Sales, WB Green Insurance, Sable's Electric, Southeastern Med, Patrons, Buckeye Mutual Insurance, Valentine Insurance, and Bethany Glass. Always, Adam, a game with a lot of emotion in it.
Yep.
And oftentimes it's which team can kind of get that under control first and settle into actually just playing basketball.
Yeah, I think that to your point, it's a combination of, number one, who cannot get rushed in everything that they're doing, right? There's a saying that is sometimes in order to go fast, you have to slow down. And when the game starts and you've got the crowd involved, you've got a natural opponent, those who can really just take a pause and slow down. And I think one of the things that's helped Cambridge historically so far this season is a lot of times on their first offensive possession, they try to run a set play. So you tend to see a lot of teams who will go into their motion offense, try to get the flow going. I personally like the idea of saying, let's actually run a set play, get the shot for who we want, and let's go from there.
Dorsey and Jeffrey in the center circle, and it will be Dorsey who controls it. Back to Singleton, man-to-man defense for the Bobcats. Singleton gives it up right side and then feeds it inside. Webster to the glass, can't make it. Dorsey, offensive rebound, had it stripped on the way up, stays with the Colts. Back out on top. Inside feed again, Dorsey. Little fake left, right, spin, little jump hook, no good, and Davion Jeffrey yanks it down for the Bobcats.
Tell you, nice starting possession for the Colts. I mean, you got a good shot in the layup or in the middle of the lane.
Easton Eibel getting the start tonight for the Colts. Number 2 on your screen in place of, I believe, Mayo. Off the dribble penetration, Bond. Kick out, stolen away. Singleton coast to coast with the steal and the hoop. Jake Singleton gets the lid off first. He leads this team in steals, in assists and points in about every other offensive category, maybe except rebound. 2-0. Colts on top. 6:43 left opening period. The Bond right baseline. Back out to Jeffrey. Cut off by Webster. Back to the top and more. And the Cats will reset. Colts have been known for the last several years for great defense and just not giving up a lot of easy hoops. And so far, the Bobcats haven't been able to get one up. More on the left side. Eibel checks him out. Off the high pick to the foul line. Stop. Pop off the back of the glass. Dorsey will clear it out and lead the break. A 2-on-3, and Eibel unable to connect with the left hand, but Dorsey cleans it up and lays it in, and the big guy's making his presence felt inside already. Full court pressure. Bobcats handle it across the timeline. 3 ball. Parsons from the corner, short of the mark. And again, Singleton with the rebound and the run out, and they're calling with the travel. He took one extra step trying to draw contact. He got the contact, he also got the steps. 4-0. Colts with 5:40 and counting, and that half-court trap awaits Bond. He beats it to Moore. Back to Bond, tipped away, chased it down, and heads-up play by Moore to bang it out of bounds off of Josh Huff.
You know, Moore having in his head, realizing under the pressure, the backside's wide open, but I think he turned thinking it was just going to be an easy shot or an easy pass. Colt defender right on him and threw it away.
Bond off the dribble penetration, a little double pump off the glass and in. Caleb Bond, an early toot, make it 4-2 Colts. Bond has struggled his last time or two out. His teams have focused on trying to shut him down. Singleton again on penetration. A leaner, not there. Rebound tapped out. Bond will come away with it. And Eibel swiped him at half court and then lost the handle. Bond will go down with it and get it to Jeffrey. Over to Parsons. Little head and shoulder fake. Cannot tie it up. And they'll call the Bobcats Parker Long on the reach in on Webster, who had the rebound. So Long's first, team's first. That pressure creating a helter-skelter effect both ways.
Yeah, it is. You know, and again, Moore sitting back on Singleton, letting him just get into the rhythm too easy. And it goes back to, you've got to, from day one or from the first minute, you've got to be pressing him the whole time.
Dorsey way out away from the basket, tried to kick it out. Stolen away by Bond. Feeds it up ahead, and Moore trying to draw the three-point play. He will get 2 free throws.
Nice 2-on-1 fast break there by the Cats.
Webster hustles back, got the foul. His first, team first, and Moore to the line will shoot 2. 55% at the free throw line this year, and rattles the first one out. No substitutions by either team to this point. 4:28 left, 4-2 Colt. And that one rims in and out into the hands of Eibel. Right side, Singleton. Moore steps up on him, and he draws a couple of bodies at times. Hand off Webster to Hupp. Tapped away, back to Hupp. Kick out, Eibel 3, catch! Easton Eibel knocks it down. Eibel pretty good outside the arc in his own right. He shoots 46% outside the arc. A guy you better keep an eye on tonight. 7-2 Colt. As the Bobcats work the perimeter. Man-to-man defense. To Moore, right corner against Eibel. Cuts him off on the baseline. Pull-up jumper. Off the rim, no good. Singleton. Rebound, long pass to Dorsey. He'll chase it down on the baseline. Try to lean up and under, nothing there. Kick out, Eibel 3. Touching! Back to back for Easton Eibel. And the Colts lead it 10-2. Timeout on the floor, 3:25 to go. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Are you paying too much for homeowners insurance? Has your insurance company raised your deductible? Hi, this is John Valentine with Valentine Insurance. Many people can't accurately answer these questions. With many premiums escrowed into mortgages, homeowners don't pay attention to changes to their policies anymore. It's time you visit Valentine Insurance for a true, no-obligation review of your insurance policy. Call 994-1776 or stop by our office at 739 Southgate Parkway in Cambridge.
During this holy season, the parishes of St. Stephen's, Corpus Christi, St. Michael's, and St. Mary's Catholic Churches wish you a Merry Christmas. You are invited to join their services. Call 740-732-4129 for Mass times.
Back at the corral, 10-2 Colts with 3:25 left to go in the opening period. It has been Easton Eibel.
Yeah.
The one guy who was thinking, right?
You know, I'll tell you what, and one of the things you have to think about is with Singleton having 2 defensive rebounds, you're able to get your offense started just by him getting the ball.
Jonas Stanberry into the game for the Bobcats, and that ball off his hands and out of bounds. Also checking in for the Bobcats, 11, Pulaski, 6'4" senior. Try to give the Bobcats a little more strength inside because Dorsey has owned the boards here early. Off that turnover, pull up 3 by Singleton, no good. And just like that, the Cats do clear it out, and it is Pulaski who comes down with it. 3-minute mark, 10-2. Colts lead it, still in that man. High pick, double team. Cats swing it right side down to Moore. Fakes left, goes right, baseline move. Eibel got a piece of the ball and blocks it. And it goes out of bounds, touched last by the Colts. It will stay Bobcat ball, down 8. And the baseline play inbounded here by Stanberry. Pulaski in the corner, back out to Bond. Cats will swing it right side. And nobody flashes open. Coming up on 2.5 left, and the Colts have shot it pretty well, especially from the perimeter here in the first quarter. Inside feed. Jeffrey cannot get it to go. Off the glass. And again, Singleton with the rebound. Head up, looking down the floor. Finds Webster on the left side. No post feed, swings it the right side. Mail in the game as well for the Colts. Dorsey from the high post puts it on the floor, takes it to the paint and can't get it to go. Pulaski denies him and gets the rebound. 2-minute mark.
I'll tell you what, for just checking in, you can see Pulaski's obviously bringing a physical edge, but you're seeing a little bit of chippiness between him and Dorsey, and it wouldn't surprise me if there's a foul coming up.
Dorsey with the steal and then gives it right back up. Pulaski had it, and then Singleton will swipe it from him, and Pulaski with the foul. 11 plays with that edge, football and basketball, and more substitutions for the Colts. Dane Singleton checks here, and Dorsey will get a little bit of a break. Webster out as well as they get back into the rotation. Hupp, and now Singleton with the ball on the right side. Penetrates, keeps the dribble alive, back out on top. Eibel, left wing. Eibel, whose father, Dale, by the way, was a Bobcat many years ago.
Really good baseball player.
Yeah. Good play, a little hoops as well. Dane Singleton over to Jake. Double team. Back out to the top. Eibel, deep three. That one a little short of the mark, and Bond clears it out for the Bobcats. 1:09 and counting. Still an 8-point lead for the Colts. Bond down the lane. His floater off the glass. Could not find the mark. Rebounded by Dane Singleton and up ahead. Jake will control it in the half court. Left side, Hupp with 53 on the clock. Jake down the lane, kick out, and they'll call the travel. Couple of extra steps there before he was able to get rid of the ball, and some contact, but the travel call. Bobcats have not been able to get in any semblance of an offense to this point. And again, the Colts with that half-court trap have just caused them some issues. And they're going to call Hupp with the foul out away from the basket on Stanberry, trying to split the double team. And it looked like Eibel might have taken a pretty good shot that time.
Looked like he caught one to the mouth.
Inbound to Moore. Eibel steps out on him, right side to Bond. Off the dribble, beats Mail to the paint, off the glass, and in. Bond has all four of the Bobcat points. They trail by 6. Mail, hand off, Eibel from the foul line. Back out to Hupp. There's Bond now on Singleton, makes him give it up. Eibel near half court. Stanberry on him. To Mail, right side. Singleton, 3. Shot. Jake Singleton, 5 in the period, but 1 behind teammate Easton Eibel, and the Colts, after 1, lead the Cats 13-4. We'll take the break. Second period coming up right after this.
In today's marketplace, you have many choices for insurance. WB Green Insurance, a representative of Westfield Insurance, is committed to providing you with excellent coverage for your home and auto at a fair and competitive price. Westfield has been in the neighborhood for over 150 years, providing peace of mind and quality insurance products through independent insurance professionals. Sharing knowledge, building trust is Westfield's pledge to their customers. Call WB Green Insurance today.
Back of the corral, period number 2 coming up, and the Colts controlling the tempo, the pace, and certainly the touch of that first period, leading 13-4. Are you surprised at all by the Colts jumping on top that quickly?
Well, I think the thing that comes out to me, right, is we talked about Singleton, we talked about different ways of trying to guard him, and we also listed off 3 other players, right? Dorsey, Webster, and Hupp. But I think the player of the first quarter for the Colts would actually be Easton Eibel, 2 for 4 from the field, 2 of 3 from the 3-point line, and 6 points.
Yeah, when he's in his range, he's been automatic, and he shoots it pretty well. Cats will have the opening possession. Backdoor cut, Stanberry, and 1! Got Hupp on his backside. Bobcats ran a set play there. They went with a 1-4 high and the backdoor cut by Stanberry gives the Bobcats 6 points and a chance for the three-point play. And the roll just not there. That ball did everything but stay in the hoop for Stanberry. Left side, Hupp will step into the three. He leaves it short, rebounded by Mail, back to Hupp. Penetrate, tried to leave it in for Dorsey. And 3 seconds. Romeo Dorsey setting up camp in the lane, and that turnover will give it right back to the Bobcats. And now the Colts will pick up full court. Inbound, Bond. Trapped in the backcourt, tried to throw it over the top. Mail with the steal. And the Colts will give it right back. No, they won't. Well, they say touch last by the Cats. That ball saved by Valentine, diving into the Cambridge bench. I thought that was clearly going to go out of bounds.
You know,
a heck of an effort.
I'll tell you what, that's a lost art. But whenever, if you're at home watching this, whenever there's a loose ball, you save it to the corner.
Webster for 3. That one won't go down. Jeffrey with the rebound for the Bobcats. So the Colts have gone cold. The Cats with a chance to cut into the lead. Down 13-6. 7-10 and counting in the first half. High pick and roll again. Bond picked it up too quick. Over to Stanberry. Now right back to Caleb Bond. Webster on him. A couple of inches. They'll beat him off the dribble down the lane. Double clutch it up. Draw contact. And shoot 2. This one on Dorsey, his first, team 4.
You know, and I'll tell you what, looking at that play, it was a broken offensive play that eventually Bond just said, clear it out and let me just go one-on-one. And I think his ability to get to the rim, that may be something offensively that Cambridge needs to do the bulk of this quarter to try to control the tempo, control the score, and see if you can pull yourself into it.
Bond knocks the first one down, second one, ditto. And it's 13-8 Colts. Yeah, Caleb Bond can beat a lot of people off the dribble. You put bigger guys on him, he might do that as he did in that case.
And really it comes down to, if you're Cambridge, this quarter in particular is defensively, can you keep Meadowbrook from having a lot of threes?
Singleton down the lane, a little out of control. Tried to draw contact, no call there. And the Cats come away with the ball. Jake that time just unable to maintain his momentum going to the basket. Stanberry dribbling a little too much, nearly lost it, gets it over to Bond. Then sets a pick for him. Bond, 15-footer, knocks it down from the foul line. Caleb Bond leading the Bobcats. Come back here, down 3 with 6 minutes to go.
Bond with 8 of Cambridge's 10 points so far in this game.
Webster right wing. Mail swings it to Singleton. They'll double him. Gives it up to Hupp in the corner. He'll go baseline, cut off there, skips it across underneath the Mail. He'll bring it back out on top. Singleton feeds it down low to Dorsey. Squares up, spins baseline, off the glass and in. Boy, he set that up so pretty. And a timeout taken on the floor. 5.5 left. And the Colts lead at 15-10. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Strike 3, you're out!
Pitchers can throw perfect games. Bowlers can bowl perfect games. But there's no such thing as a perfect church. Churches are made up of imperfect people. People who have had their hearts broken and their dreams shattered. Church is for people who need hope, who need forgiveness, and who need to learn to forgive. Church is for people like you and me. Join us at Stop 9 Church of Christ, 9:30 Sunday morning. The imperfect church where you can find God's perfect love. And celebrate the victory God has won for you.
Back at the corral, 5.5 left. Opening half. 15-10 Colts and more full court pressure being applied. As the Bobcats handle it pretty easily this time. Up ahead, Pulaski, Stanberry high off the glass, not there, but Jeffrey with the stick back.
Good follow by Jeffrey on that one.
Led the fast break, gave it up, got it back and laid it in.
A lot of players want to give up on a layup, but you can get a lot of easy buckets by just continuing to play.
Hop down the lane to Dorsey and one. As Stanberry tried to block him from behind, and Dorsey so strong, He will have the three-point play chance here. And that fell on Stanberry, his first. Bobcats third. Romeo Dorsey, 6 early points. And he has dominated the paint to this point.
Yeah. And offensively, he's looked really smooth.
As did that free throw. Hitting 7. And it is a 6-point Colt lead. They'll pull the press off. And Bond will be picked up near midcourt by Webster. Dribbles into a double team. Up ahead, Stanberry will attack right at Dorsey. And he altered that shot, missed it, coming the other way. Singleton reverse layup, no good. Dorsey rebounds, brought it down where you can't. Down to the little guys, and they swiped his pocket. Caleb Campbell into the game for the first time, came up with that steal. And the Bobcats down 6, another chance to cut into the lead. 4.5 left in the half. Back to Bond. Webster steps out on him. He's beat him off the dribble a couple of times, and they'll set a high pick for him here. Goes hard off the dribble, hands it off to Jeffrey. He'll go back to the paint and draw contact and shot. Jake Singleton picks up his first, team's 5th, and Davion Jeffrey will shoot 2.
Yep, nice little hesitation, pump fake by Jeffrey. Get the defender up and get the foul.
This will be the 6th and 7th free throws of the period for the Bobcats. That first one drops in. Davion only 2 of 7 at the foul line coming in to tonight as Parsons checks back in for Stanberry, and he rattles the second one in and out. Hupp with the rebound. Coming up on the 4-minute mark, Colts still lead it by 5. Eibel back in the game. Had this ball kicked back out to him, and Bond able to knock it out off of Easton Eibel, and it will be a turnover against the Colts. Jeffrey will inbound it with the long arms of Dorsey in his face. Gets it into Campbell. Over to Bond. He sees the double team. Tried to dribble out of it. Back to Campbell and across the timeline. Cats working hard to get into the half court. And an errant pass. That time Campbell looking for a cutter. Nobody there. Up ahead, Singleton with the attack. And 2. He gets so quickly to the basket. That first step beats everybody.
Yep.
Up ahead, Pulaski. And again, the bunny missed by the catch. That time, Parsons left it hanging on the rim. Cats had a chance to cut into the lead, but they come up with another steal. Bond again, doubling down on the post feed. Swipes it away from Dorsey, and then the Cats give it right back. Cambridge just needs to settle down a little bit, and the Colts as well. Neither team has been able to really get into a good set half-court offense. As Moore checks back in for the Cats, so does Parker Long. Colts get Dane Singleton back in. Dorsey will sit down along with Eibel as Mail steps in as well. Jake Singleton out on top, gets it to Webster. Looks for the cut, and now the pop out and pick. Cats do a good job of taking care of Singleton, who had to give it up and nearly threw it away. As Webster, I'm not sure he was expecting to come right back to him that quick. Up from the foul line, looked at the basket, thought better of it. Singleton will look at it and take that shot. Rebound, stick back, Dane Singleton, and they'll call the foul down low on the Bobcats. Parker Long, his second, team 4th, and a 2-shot opportunity here for Dane Singleton. First one is up and back rim. Dane on the season was 4 of 4 before that one, and now 0 for 2 this time, and they're going to call Mail over the back. So Trayvon Mail picks up his first, team's 6th. And Yannico for the Bobcats, Drew Yannico, 5'9" senior, into the game for the first time.
Looked like Cambridge maybe trying to get an extra set of hands out there to handle the ball.
A little quickness, somebody else can handle it. Bond beats the double team all the way in the glass. Scoop shot, up and in. How did he do that? His 10th point of the half to draw the Cats to within 5, 20-15. Hupp trying to answer for 3. That one off the mark. Mayo will clear it out. Back to Singleton. His 3-ball. Bingo! Jake Singleton's second 3 of the night. He's got 10 as well.
You know, I'll tell you, that's a piece that when this half's over, Meadowbrook 18-10 in the rebounding edge, and the amount of second chance opportunities they've had has played a real big part in their offensive scoring tonight.
That was a second chance 3. 23-15, they lead it. Bond down the lane, kick out to Moore. A couple of picks there. Moore can't use either one. Over to Yannico. 1.5 left first half in the Bobcats. Coach Pertusit will take a timeout. 1:33 left. We'll keep it here for this timeout. 23-15. Colts with the lead, and they just seem to have more poise, and certainly Singleton with more poise about him. Calming his team down, making the shots when they need them. Just those little things sometimes.
You know, I don't necessarily think it's as much poise as it is opportunistic. So you think about it, Meadowbrook having 7 offensive rebounds in the first half, right? So you're up 8 points, and we can think of multiple times. We just saw one where you gave up a second chance point that ended up being a 3-pointer. We have certainly seen Romeo Dorsey being a factor on the glass, and Eibel hitting 3s as part of that play. At the same time, Cambridge, there's been multiple times where they've done a good job of actually breaking the pressure, getting a layup at the hoop, and actually missing the bunny. And I think you all of a sudden say, well, we've missed 2 easy layups, and they've hit at least 1 3 off of second chance points. All of a sudden, this is a 1-point game, not an 8-point game.
Minute and a half, Bobcats with the ball down those 8 points. Again, Bond down on high, gets it to Pulaski. Kick over to Moore, looked at the 3, pulled it back. Bond picked it up. DeLong in the corner, set a pick for him. He'll roll baseline, kick it back out. Deep 3 by Bond, short of the mark, rebound. Comes to Webster, and he'll push it up the right side. Into the corner, Singleton, back to Webster, down the lane, and contact. As Caleb Bond got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. His first, team's 5th, and a 2-shot chance, I believe, coming up for Webster. Nope, they'll say that was on the floor as Eibel checks in along with Dorsey. Into Singleton, back to Dorsey, and now Webster, top of the key. Under a minute to play. Eibel at the high post, hands it off to Singleton at the foul line. Back to Eibel. Cats won't leave him open for another 3. Inside feed, Dorsey, backdoored it. Trayvon Mayo will lay in. Bobcats did everything they could to take away the number 1 option, but the 2 option was the weak side feed.
Yeah, really, really good offensive possession from Meadowbrook there. I mean, you saw clean, consistent passes, and they just knew every time, point A to point B, where are you and where should this go?
10-point Colt lead, 20 seconds on the clock. 25-15, Bond with it. 15 seconds. Looking for a little help here. They'll spread the floor. He'll beat Webster off the dribble, then lost the ball. Touched by Eibel. And the Bobcats will maintain possession with 6.5 seconds left in this first half. Parsons will look to trigger it in. Gets it into Bond. Off the dribble, half court. Fake the 3, pull up, runner off the rim at the buzzer. So we've reached the break at the corral. And it is the Colts on top of the Bobcat, 25-15, 10 first half points for Jake Singleton to lead the Colts, and 10 first half points for Caleb Bond to lead the Bobcats. We'll get our scoring and stats in order. You get yours ready. We'll be back after these messages.
Your home and your car are likely your two biggest investments. Protecting them from unexpected damage is a prime concern to WB Green Insurance. They are proud to represent Westfield Insurance, a financial service organization that provides insurance products for your home, auto, and business. Sharing knowledge, building trust is Westfield Insurance's pledge to their customers, along with personalized claim service that's fast and friendly. To learn how Westfield can help with your insurance needs, talk to WB Green Insurance today.
I was sitting in my car and it wouldn't start. I lifted the hood and the engine was falling apart. What would I do? My eyes filled with tears. Then on the radio I heard of West 40 by Pay here, where for a little money down and a little each week, I could have a car, nice, shiny, and sleek. So I walked in the door and I put the money down. Now I got a nice car that I can drive around. West 40 by Pay here will help rebuild your credit. The corner of Dewey and Route 40 in Cambridge, don't you forget it.
West 40 Auto Sales, corner of Route 40 and Dewey Avenue in Cambridge, is home of a guaranteed credit approval, with most loans approved while you wait. Go to their website to fill out an online loan application, west40autosales.com. You'll also find their weekly special listed there.
Hi, this is Jenny Johnson with ABC Communications. I'm guessing it would be very beneficial to your business if you could reach a bunch of people all at once with a message. So, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. First, rent an arena. Then, equip it with the best PA audio system money can buy. Give away free tickets to enough people to fill all the seats in the arena, pack the crowd, and do your presentation. Or, just put a radio commercial on one of our 7 local radio stations. Each week, we reach enough people to fill that arena, and that is exactly why radio advertising works. This is Jenny Johnson. Email me today at jjohnson@yourradioplace.com. I can't wait to help you increase your sales.
Feeding the world takes the work of a farmer. Patrons Buckeye Mutual, your local Grinnell Mutual member insurance company, tips our hat to those who help ensure that we can all eat tomorrow. We are proud to offer the coverage farmers need to keep growing. So we're taking a moment to say thank you for planning our future. Trust in farming. Trust in Patrons Buckeye Mutual. Trust in tomorrow. Contact your Patrons Buckeye agent today at 638-3604. Trust in Tomorrow is a registered trademark of Grinnell Mutual Reinsurance Company.
When it's game night, let Papa John's Pizza on Southgate Parkway feed your team after the game. Hey, this is Shannon. You can create your pizza with all your favorite toppings or pick one of our specialty pizzas like the Super Hawaiian, the Philly cheesesteak, the Works, or the Fiery Buffalo Chicken. Don't forget we also have chicken poppers, wings, breadsticks, and cheese sticks too. Call 740-439-PAPA. That's 439-7272 or order from your phone at papajohns.com.
Gardening expert, TV and radio host, author, and columnist Melinda Myers has more than 30 years of horticulture experience. Listen to Melinda's Garden Moments on this station as she helps everyday gardeners find success and ease in the garden through her Melinda's Garden Moments segments.
I'm Melinda Myers, and I love gardening as much as you do.
Melinda shares must-have tips that hold the key to gardening success. Melinda's Garden Moments are brought to you by Surgeon Construction. Tune in weekdays to hear Melinda's Garden Moments right here.
I'm not buying till I checked on Ford.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there's one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you'll always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. In business for nearly 60 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at doanford.com.
Welcome back to the Corral. We are at halftime. Halftime tonight brought to you by Valentine Insurance. Cambridge on Southgate Parkway. We want to thank our other sponsors of tonight's game. Papa John's, Jet Auto, Doan Ford, West 40 Auto Sales, WB Green Insurance, Abels Electric, Southeastern Med, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, and Beth A. Glass. The play-by-play brought to you by me tonight. So I talked all 4 quarters to halftime, brought to you by AD, Adam Davenport, the Hall of Famer. This is your time, guy. Everything you got, this is what we need to know. What are your impressions of that first half?
Well, I'll tell you what. So first of all, you are right. Pre-game, post-game, halftime. That's my time to shine.
That's your
right?
time, buddy.
That's right. I'll tell you what. I think that both teams have obviously some pluses and minuses as they go into the locker room to think about. As you and I were talking a little bit offline, I think if you're Meadowbrook, you came in with probably a defensive strategy that said we were not going to let Caleb Bond be an offensive factor. And really, that's been the driving force that has kept Cambridge into this game. So you think about Cambridge in general, led by Caleb Bond with 10 points, Davion Jeffrey with 3, and Jonah Stanberry with 2 for their 15. And I think one of the things that's really struggling for Cambridge, 3 of 8 from the foul line, 0 for 3 on the three-point line, and getting out-rebounded, doubled up on the rebounds, 20-10, the lead for Meadowbrook. On the Meadowbrook side, it's almost exactly what the perfect recipe. So when we were thinking in the pregame, we were talking about, if you're able to try to slow Singleton down, who then steps up? And we kind of highlighted the experience that they had with Dorsey, Webster, and Hupp. And here's what you saw. First of all, Jake Singleton leading Meadowbrook quietly, but 10 points leading the way, followed by Romeo Dorsey adding in 7, Easton Eibel with 6, and Trayvon Mail with 2 for their 25. Meadowbrook certainly 10 of 21 from the floor, shooting almost 50%, doubling up on the rebounds, getting extra chances, and really not having to go to the free throw line that much, but certainly being able to make three-pointers. They made Meadowbrook made 4 three-pointers in the first half. Cambridge goes 0 for 3. So you look at it, if you're Meadowbrook, you might say, hey, the one thing that we wanted to do defensively, we have really struggled at what we were trying to do. But there's been so many other positives that we were hoping would happen, certainly have. If you're Cambridge, you're looking at this saying, hey, we need to, the rest of our team needs to meet Caleb Bond where he is at today, because he is playing well. And you look at it and say, 4 for 8 from the field, 4 of 6 from the 2-point line, 0 for 2 on the 3. One of those, is a chuck at the end of the quarter, and 2 for 2 from the foul line. So he has certainly been the one. And this goes back to what we talked about in the pregame as who's that next person to step up? Is it Caleb Bond? Excuse me, not Caleb Bond. Is it Caden Moore, as we talked about with his second half at Maysville? Is it Davion Jeffrey, or is it somebody else? I will tell you that I think the biggest thing, if I'm Cambridge, is I would walk away saying, you know what, coming out of the first quarter, we're down 9, and we're down 10 in the game, right? So we basically played even in quarter number 2, Cambridge being outscored 12-11. You need to have a quarter where you turn the corner here, where even if it's a +1 for the quarter, you've got to win a quarter to be able to start having a chance to win the game.
I agree with all of those assessments. I think you're probably correct in that Cambridge is thinking, hey, if we can get the Colts in a little foul trouble, get to the line, knock those down, we're hanging around. And when you're only 2 of 8 at the free throw line, you got part of that scenario right. You got there. Now you got to start making the free throws. They missed a couple of layups where they worked the ball around and got some good looks inside. Shooting-wise, the Colts have made the look that they've had. And when they missed them, they got second chances. The Wildcats haven't gotten many of those.
The second chances, and certainly, you watch some of the guys for Meadowbrook and the way they're scoring, and you have to start asking yourself, okay, wait a second, you're 1 for 3 from the foul line. So while I don't believe Meadowbrook is a 33% free throw shooting team, there comes a point where you sit there and say, well, you're going to prove to me that you can shoot better from the foul line than you can from the field, because through the first half you shoot better from the field than you do the foul line. And so you think about it, I would be really looking at someone like a Romeo Dorsey and telling, maybe not Davion Jeffrey because you don't want foul trouble, but Parker Long, Levin Pulaski, you might be having that conversation of, hey, the ball doesn't get to the rim. If he's got you beat, you've got to foul him and you've got to make him earn it at the line, because you cannot allow them to just have easy buckets.
Second half just about to get underway. 25-15. Colts controlled the first half, and more than anything, we've talked about that with the Bobcats. Their best case scenario is to keep this game low 40s.
Yes.
At the pace the Colts are on now, that's 50 and above. Cambridge in the first half did not control the tempo very well. If they want to hang around, they're going to have to do that.
Well, what to your point, what you really can't have is you can't have another 14 to 4 kind of quarter. right? It goes back to you certainly don't want to get blown out of anything, right? You've got to win a quarter.
Colts will have the ball first. It will be Eibel, Singleton, Webster, Dorsey, and Hupp for the Colts. And the Bobcats' original starting lineup in as well. And Bond contesting the pass on the wing, and he got picked up the cheap foul, his second, team first of the half. Man-to-man defense by the Cat. Singleton inbounding to Eibel out on top. They lead it by 10. Certainly the first three and a half, 4 minutes will tell us the tale here, right?
Yes.
Singleton out of the double team. Back out to Eibel. Back to Jake Singleton. Looks to the feed to Dorsey. He has to chase it down in the corner. Goes hard to the basket. Kicks it across. Eibel's three. No good. Bodies all over the place. And the ball kicked out of bounds by one of them. And they'll say it is Cambridge ball. There was a heap of bodies.
Yeah, and to your point, you watched that play starting to unfold, and you thought, uh-oh, backside, good pass, open three. Oh, crap, they missed it. Now you got an offensive rebound. Like, a lot of those things were adding up to really fall on the Colts side.
They got the good look.
Yep.
Bobcats handle the pressure into the half court. Left side to Parsons to the top of the key. Back out to Bond, and Singleton forces in near half court. Bond down the lane, and they'll call hands on. And Singleton will pick up his second as he tried to deny Bond penetration. So his first of the half, second of the game, both teams have won.
Yep.
Inbound feed, Jeffrey stolen away, intended for Parsons. Up ahead, Singleton, did he pick up three? He did. He left his feet to throw the pass, and Caleb Bond had planted himself, and Jake Singleton will have to play with 3 fouls now.
I'll tell you what,
different element to tonight.
You know, you got the two leading scorers, both with 2 fouls, picking up a cheap one to start the half, to be willing to step in and take a charge.
Davian Jeffrey down the lane, feeds it over to Parsons, and he finishes this time to cut that deficit to 8, 6:20, and counting. Cambridge with a little passive pressure out on top. Right side to Hupp. Cambridge back into the man-to-man. High kick by Dorsey. Webster down the lane with the left hand. His first bucket of the night. Extends the lead back to 10. I don't think the Bobcat defense expected Webster to attack.
Yeah, nice high pick and really used the pick but kind of went away from it at the same time.
On split defenders, kick out to Jeffrey. Picked it up, puts it back on the floor. Loose ball picked up by Singleton and then restolen by the Bobcat. Moore, he'll penetrate to the glass, got it to crawl in. Caden Moore takes advantage of the loose ball, and the Bobcats again back to within 8. Singleton up the right side, top of the key to Webster, feeds it to Dorsey in the paint, works himself to the left side, put up the runner, no good, a little out of control there, and Jeffrey with the rebound. Back to Bond. Moore will take the deep 3, left it short, Singleton clears it out and pushes it up ahead to Dorsey. Trying to spin back to his left, and the Cats on the reach in.
Cole Parsons.
Cole Parsons will pick up his first, but they had Dorsey out where he doesn't feel comfortable with the ball, well away from the basket. He was looking for help.
Yeah, and you're trying to get over that hump, and sometimes the hump is, you're losing and you go to take the lead, but sometimes it's just getting it down to 5, right? And so it's such a crucial possession for Cambridge.
Singleton, the deep 3. Touching! Jake Singleton's third 3 of the night. And a timeout on the floor, 30-19. Colts, 4:46 left. We'll be back in 30 seconds or so.
Until I checked on board.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there's one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you'll always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. In business for nearly 60 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at DoanFord.com.
During this holy season, the parishes of St. Stephen's, Corpus Christi, St. Michael's, and St. Mary's Catholic churches wish you a Merry Christmas. You are invited to join their services. Call 740-732-4129 for Mass times.
Now 30-19 Colts. Both teams have used a couple of their timeouts. 4:46 left to go here in the third quarter. And the Bobcats down 11 now. Again, will face full court pressure. Jeffrey up ahead to Moore. Beats Eibel, top of the key, left side to Long. Dorsey steps out on him, invites him to go baseline and then cuts him off. Feed inside to Jeffrey, can't get it to go, and Singleton, good defense, will clear it out and push it. Crossover dribble to the baseline, kick out to Hop. Back to Singleton in the corner. Forced baseline, back out on top. Eibel will not pump up the three, and the Colts will reset. Singleton off the high pick, and they'll call the blocking foul. Moore with a, hey, you take a shot, right?
Yeah.
Maybe try to get that charge call and get the fourth foul, but he did move his feet. Dayton Moore picks up his first, team second, or check that third.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Singleton, when he comes off that dribble, he kind of leads, almost like a stiff arm. He leads with that offhand.
Yeah, if you lean into it, you might be able to get one there.
You gotta sell it though. You really gotta sell it.
Webster off the dribble penetration. Nice lean in. Switch to the right hand. Kicked it off the glass. And Webster with 4 in the period extends the lead, 32-19. You don't expect him to lead you in scoring, but boy, he can get you a lot of good buckets. 3.5 left in the third. Over to Moore. Fake left, goes right. Cut off there by Singleton. Now hands it back to Jeffrey. He'll attack. And I think they're going to call the foul on Moore on the offensive side. Again, it is. His second quick one is he used his body to shield the defender that time illegally. And the Cats will turn it over. Down 13. And Stanberry and Pulaski check back in for the Cats. 3:21 left here in the third. Slow pace, but the Colts have slowly extended their lead. Dorsey. The Mayo. Back to Dorsey on the right. And now Webster. Off the high pick and roll. Stanberry cut him off. And then the errant pass tapped by Mayo and out of bounds. So the Colts give it back to the Cats. Just under 3 to go. Got a little sloppy here in the third, eh?
Well, you know, it's kind of dried up for a second offensively for Cambridge.
Pulaski trying to hand it off to Bond. And he had to chase it to the end line and could not save it. You see the Colts doing a little better job of overplaying Bond this half.
Well, that's it. Certainly, I'm sure the halftime talk was the intensity of guarding him.
Singleton out on top off the switch. Could not get free. Now beats Stanberry to the paint and to the line. Singleton drops it in and one. And he'll take his 77% touch to the line to extend the lead to 16.
Yep, Pulaski picking up his second foul.
Team's fifth. Jake Singleton has not shot a free throw tonight. He's had 5 in every period and 6 here in the third with that make. Knocked down a 3 in every period. Full court pressure. Stanberry up ahead to Pulaski. The late pass there. He knew he had a guy open, flashing weak side in Parsons, but he couldn't get it to him in time, and the Colts kick it out of bounds. Cambridge has scored only 4 points this third period. You said they could not have another 14-4 period as Stanberry attacks in Dorsey. Picks up his second. Jonas Stanberry will head to the line and shoot 2. He was 0 for 1 in the first half. 53% free throw shooter coming in. The lefty toes the line, puts it up, and front rims this one. Substitutions for the Colts. Eibel and Dane Singleton check in. Dorsey and Hupp will get a seat. 2:19 left here in the third. 35-19. Stanberry's second. And the Cats have 20. Inbound to Singleton. Up ahead, Eibel to Webster and across the timeline. Nail out at the top of the key. Starts the offense to the left. Eibel in the corner. Back to Mail. Singleton playing off the ball this time so far. Back to Mail. Fake the 3, takes it baseline, and he drew contact from about 5 different angles. Take your pick. Team foul that time on the Bobcat. Actually, Parsons will be called for, but a lot of people got a little skin there.
That's where you've got to know if there's a group of you that are fouling the player at the same time, you've got to know how many fouls you have. Because if you don't have a foul, you got to be raising your hand up, trying to sell it to the official that you were the one who get it.
Mayo cannot connect on the first one, but he does.
I remember
on the second. Trayvon coming in shooting 88% at the line.
I remember one time there was a whole bunch of us that got a foul, and I told Gary Sigmund, I said, hey, raise your hand. You got to take that one.
Yeah, I'm not getting that one. Bobcats work it into Parsons. Kick out. Bond down the lane. Inside out feed. 3-ball. Cha-ching. Davian Jeffrey gives the Bobcats their first 3 of the night. Colts have knocked down 5 from long range. 36-23. 1:15 and counting. Singleton floater. Rattles it in. Yes. Singleton going off here in the third with 8. Big third period.
Yeah, I think he heard me say a quiet 10 points in the first half. He has certainly announced himself today.
It's not a quiet 18.
No.
Give the assist to Bond as Parsons lays it up and in. 46 on the clock, 13-point Colt lead. Davian Jeffrey with the steal. Crossover dribble to the paint, couldn't get it to go. And Singleton that time didn't contest, he knew he had 3. Smart play by him, and Jeffrey missed it anyway. They could have forced him to come at him a little bit more. And Jeffrey that time possibly. 24, Colts will get the last shot of this third period, leading 38-25. Eibel. Bobcats trying to deny. Singleton out on top. He chases down the air and toss. 8 on the clock and a illegal foul. No, they're going to call him for carrying. That's a call you don't see very often.
That has been the one surprise for me. It certainly is, when you're a guard and you are the primary scorer, you have the ball a lot. 7 turnovers from Singleton during the the game.
Deep 3 at the buzzer, off the mark, and as we head to the fourth period, the Colts in command, 38-25. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
I'm not buying till I check on Ford.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there's one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you'll always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. In business for nearly 60 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at DoanFord.com.
38-25, Colts have led all the way, 13-4 at the end of one, 25-15 at halftime, and they've extended that with a 13-10 third period. Now 38-25. And for the Bobcats, you had to really attack, I think, in that third period, be a lot more aware that Jake Singleton had three and put him in situations where he might have to take a chance at that fourth foul. They weren't really able to do that.
Yeah, to your point, the minute he picked up two fouls, he had the cheap one to start, and then he had the charge, and a big miss, I think, for Cambridge in this game. They were going back and forth. They're down 8. Dorsey is playing defense out on the wing, out of his comfort zone. You chuck up a 3. They get the rebound. They come down. They get an offensive rebound, and Singleton hits a three-pointer, and all of a sudden, momentum turns into being down 11.
Parsons' pass inside, stolen by Singleton. Ahead to Dorsey. Lost it on the way up. And the Bobcats will bring it the other way. Bond with a little hesitation move through contact from Webster. That will be Drew Webster's second foul. And Caleb Bond, who was scoreless in that third period, after having 10 in the first half, will go to the line here with this team down 13, 7.5 to go. Bond up, rattles it home. And Dane Singleton checks in for Dorsey. This is just Dorsey's second year playing organized basketball.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of athleticism, but he doesn't have all the basketball moves down just yet as Bond connects on both to draw his team to 11, 7.5 to go, and Singleton races it down the floor under the hoop, reverses it up and in, and somebody's got to stop the ball.
Yeah. Well, again, if you're making it difficult for him to do everything, there's no way he gets ahead of steam, right? He has really put on a heck of a show tonight.
Inside, outside, offense, defense, the best player on the floor by a long way.
You know, the thing that would surprise you, so I talked about kind of the negative thing that surprised with the turnovers, but the positive side, 7 rebounds for Singleton as well, right? Not afraid to go inside and mix it up.
Does a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Bond with the pull-up, 14-footer, got it to go in. Caleb Bond trying to answer, 40-29, Cats hanging around. You got to get some stops if you're Cambridge, and the Colts are just relentless here as it is Jake Singleton time. Nobody's stopping his penetration. And he finishes.
This is one of those times where you might want to look at calling a timeout and talking to your guys about every ball screen, jumping him and making him give it up.
Moore tries to answer for the Bobcats. No good. Pulaski cleans it up and lays it in. Evan Pulaski's first bucket of the night, a stick back.
Yeah.
Cat down 11 again. 6:08. Again, Singleton down the line. Kick out to Hop. 3. Not there. And Bond with the rebound. And Webster over his back picks up 3. His third foul. Team 5th. With exactly 6 minutes to go. Stanbury will check out. Davian Jeffrey a bit of a break. Will check back in. Dorsey will replace Dane Singleton. I think 2 guys that haven't gotten a break tonight are Bond and Jake Singleton.
Yeah.
They played every minute.
Well, and I think both of them had to expect that coming into it.
Cat trying to get into single digits here. Down 42-31. Webster on Bond on the right wing. Trying to take him off the dribble. Bond cut off down to the lane. Kick out to Moore. His 3 ball off the rim. Dorsey clears it and pushes it out to Singleton. A little hesitation move, and Pulaski will cut him off this time. And that will be Cambridge's 7th foul, I believe.
It is.
And if you're going to foul somebody, that may be not the guy to send to the line. Pulaski picks up his 3rd, but a 1-and-1, and the way Singleton shoots the ball, it's almost like a layup. Front end of the 1-and-1 here. I've got 2 circles on my score sheet, though. There's the first one is up and good. Nothing but the twine. Ought to be a country song, huh?
Nothing but the twine.
Well, we'll work on that one. 5.5 left. Count the second one. 24 points on the night. Singleton with the steal. And there is that Bobcat timeout. Maybe a couple of minutes too late.
Yep.
Back to 15, 46-31 with 5:24 to go. And Singleton is just, like you said, impressive in so many different phases of his game. You count on him to score a lot of points for their team, and he scored 2/3 of their points tonight. But by the same token, he's playing great defense. He's rebounding. He's dishing it off.
Yep.
In that case there, the Bobcats a little lazy, getting it on the floor, and swipes it away. Easy two. Just put the dagger in your heart.
And really, that's the difference to me between a good player and a star, right? There have been plenty of good players for both of these programs over the years. The difference between being a good player and a star is you can impact the game in multiple levels. It's not always, am I the guy who makes the most points? You can be a game changer and really have second, third levels of how you impact things. And that's one of the things I look at, when I think about Cambridge right now. I've talked to you last week when we did the Maysville game. I watched Davion Jeffrey, and I look at his athleticism, and I look at it and say, you know what? He's got some things he's got to work on in his game, just like any other kid would have to. But you can't teach somebody to have a special skill that impacts the game and changes it and flips it over. And so when you're watching Singleton tonight, that ability to say, I rebound, I play defense, I foul, I get others involved, I do everything.
Bobcats beat full court pressure, but cannot beat the half court. Succumbing to that with a turnover yet again. Eibel feeding it back out on top to Huff. Cambridge got it across the timeline, but the Colts kept trapping. And the Cats eventually give it up once again. I don't know how many turnovers that is for Cambridge tonight, but it's got to be double digits.
It's 13.
13,
yep.
Yeah. Right about where they average on the season.
And to that point, Meadowbrook has 13 turnovers as well. The difference has been, we talked about, opportunistic is the word for tonight.
Colts taking advantage of the opportunity to make the Cats play defense here. And a couple of looks at it. Back to Singleton, 4.5 to go, 15-point lead. As the Colts just a little bit of a delay game here, making Cambridge step out on him. Singleton step back three, not this time, and Moore will clear it out for the Bobcats. 4:17 left in the game. And Jeffrey nearly lost the handle, hands it back to Moore, his deep three. Off the rim and another Singleton rebound. Might have the double-double going tonight.
It's going to be close.
Inside feed, hop to the hoop. Couldn't get the spinner. Dorsey had the rebound and got fouled on the way up, and that could be a one-on-one situation. Foul on Cambridge's Parsons is his third. As Campbell will step back in for Pulaski. Mayo for the Colts as Eibel sits down. And Dorsey, the front end of the 1-and-1. And it is up and good. Romeo on the season, 55% at the line coming in. I've got him 2 for 2 tonight and missed that one. Jeffrey with the rebound. 47-34, 31, and make it 34. Touch, Caleb Campbell drops the three from the left wing. 3:41 to go. Colts back into the half-court set. Looking to eat some clock here. 3.5, leading 47-34. Up. Moore will come out and get the count on. He'll use the dribble. Trying to get it back to Singleton. And Mayo will step in front of it. To Singleton, down the lane. Feed to Dorsey. Left hand. Soft. Off the iron and in. Dorsey extending the lead back to 49-34. Timeout on the floor. 3:08 left. We'll be back right after this.
Feeding the world takes the work of a farmer. Patrons Buckeye Mutual, your local Grinnell Mutual member insurance company, tips our hat to those who help ensure that we can all eat tomorrow. We are proud to offer the coverage farmers need to keep growing. So we're taking a moment to say thank you for planning our future. Trust in farming. Trust in Patrons Buckeye Mutual. Trust in tomorrow. Contact your Patrons Buckeye agent today at 638-3604. Trust in Tomorrow is a registered trademark of Grinnell Mutual Reinsurance Company.
Back of the corral, 3:08 remaining in this contest. The Colts have controlled from the opening tip, 49-34 right now. And there's not a lot of superlatives that we haven't used yet. I'd have to get to my thesaurus to pull them out to talk a little bit more about Jake Valentine. We'll do that in our post-game wrap, but he's done everything he needed to do tonight to make sure his team didn't come in and fall asleep.
Yep. Yeah, without a doubt, they've been very focused the entire game today.
Darren Jarrett in his first head coaching duty as a head coach of the Colts. As Bond turns it over again for the Cats. He will go 1-0 versus the Bobcats in his young career. Singleton, work a little clock, kick it back out. Colts taking their time on possessions now, and a whistle away from the ball.
What are they calling? Caleb Campbell running through?
I think so. 3 is Caleb Campbell.
Looks like getting called for running through a screen a little hard.
Webster will head to the line, and he'll have the front end of the 1-on-1. 19 foul for the Bobcats. Webster on the season, 54% free throw shooter. Trying to earn the bonus. Can't get it done. Rebound on the floor. Webster gets it. Hustle play there. Inside feed Dorsey to the right hand. Spin move to the left. Cashes in. Dorsey's 12th point of the night. Right on to his season average. 51-34. 2:13 to go. Bond again penetrates. Spin move. Floater is good. Caleb Bond has 6 here in the fourth period. And the Colts continue to work some clock. Under 2 to play. Trayvon Mayo with it. Back out to Webster. Cats will double him. Gives it back to Mayo. Cambridge trying not to give Singleton any space, but when he wants it, he gets it.
Yeah. Well, but to that point, he works hard for it.
Yeah, he does. He got it
right
back here. Moore, little bump, got away with that one. If you're the Cats here, you got to be careful who you foul if you foul anyone. And at this point, it doesn't look like they're going to foul anyone. From this point on, it's a 2-shot bonus.
You know, we talked about at halftime.
To Dorsey, nice dish that time by Webster. Dorsey with the easy lay-in, 53-36.
14 for Dorsey.
Yeah, he's had a nice game.
Yeah.
Hadn't had to do a lot. Rebound, hang close to the basket, alter a couple shots. Moore tried to answer, and they'll call the travel. He had the Euro step going that time.
But, you know, we talked about that at halftime, about the fact that Singleton's willing to go in and get rebounds. When you get 8 defensive rebounds for your team, then you're able to bring it down and set things up.
Singleton up ahead to Dorsey, trying to feed it cross court. Bond in the right place at the right time, got the steal. Up ahead to Moore, and his pass, trying to get it to Parsons in the corner. Singleton with another steal. He leads the team in that category as well. He's had 2 or 3 of those tonight. 30 seconds left. And Singleton just looking to run this one out. 53-36. Colts hold it near half court a little bit. 10-second mark, Mayo. Bobcats will not foul. And the Colts will not shoot. Final second, and it is done. Done and done. Meadowbrook continues their recent dominance of the Bobcats, a 53-36 lesson tonight here at the Corral. They will move to 6-2 on the season. Bobcats will drop to 3-5, and Cambridge in 2 days. The Catfish Challenge at Cambridge High School, where the Bobcats, all the programs throughout the day, facing off John Glenn and Cambridge all day long.
Yeah.
That should be an
That-
interesting day. The Cats will have 24 hours to kind of regroup, get it back together, and head back home.
I'll tell you what, I think that's a really good idea that they do. As somebody, my kids are now old enough that they play in the youth league, and our youth league did something like that for the youth league level with a different school in our area, and being able to kind of do all that in one day, and how they kind of culminate the night with the varsity game, I think is just a really cool thing that we do.
Final score here again tonight from the Corral: Meadowbrook 53, Cambridge 36. Stay tuned. Our post-game wrap-up coming up right after this.
When it's game night, let Papa John's Pizza on Southgate Parkway feed your team after the game. Hey, this is Shannon. You can create your pizza with all your favorite toppings, or pick one of our specialty pizzas like the Super Hawaiian, the Philly Cheesesteak, the Works, or the Fiery Buffalo Chicken. Don't forget, we also have chicken poppers, wings, breadsticks, and cheese sticks too. Call 740-439-PAPA. That's 439-7272, or order from your phone at papajohns.com.
Gardening expert, TV and radio host, author, and columnist Melinda Myers has more than 30 years of horticulture experience. Listen to Melinda's Garden Moments on this station as she helps everyday gardeners find success and ease in the garden through her Melinda's Garden Moments segments.
I'm Melinda Myers, and I love gardening as much as you do.
Melinda shares must-have tips that hold the key to gardening success. Melinda's Garden Moments are brought to you by Surgent Construction. Tune in weekdays to hear Melinda's Garden Moments right here.
In today's marketplace, you have many choices for insurance. WB Green Insurance, a representative of Westfield Insurance, is committed to providing you with excellent coverage for your home and auto at a fair and competitive price. Westfield has been in the neighborhood for over 150 years, providing peace of mind and quality insurance products through independent insurance professionals. Sharing knowledge, building trust is Westfield's pledge to their customers. Call WB Green Insurance today.
Hi, this is Jenny Johnson with ABC Communications. I'm guessing it would be very beneficial to your business if you could reach a bunch of people all at once with a message. So, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. First, rent an arena. Then, equip it with the best PA audio system money can buy. Give away free tickets to enough people to fill all the seats in the arena, pack the crowd, and do your presentation. Or just put a radio commercial on one of our 7 local radio stations. Each week, we reach enough people to fill that arena, and that is exactly why radio advertising works. This is Jenny Johnson. Email me today at jjohnson@yourradioplace.com. I can't wait to help you increase your sales.
I was sitting in my car and it wouldn't start. I lifted the hood and the engine was falling apart. What would I do? My eyes filled with tears. Then on the radio I heard of West 40 by Pay here, where for a little money down and a little each week, I could have a car, nice, shiny, and sleek. So I walked in the door and I put the money down. Now I got a nice car that I can drive around. West 40 by Pay here will help rebuild your credit. The corner of Dewey and Route 40 in Cambridge, don't you forget it.
West 40 Auto Sales, corner of Route 40 and Dewey Avenue in Cambridge, is home of a guaranteed credit approval, with most loans approved while you wait. Go to their website to fill out an online loan application, west40autosales.com. You'll also find their weekly special listed there.
Back to the Corral. Post-game wrap-up brought to you tonight by Jet Auto. I want to thank all of our sponsors for tonight's contest: Papa John, Doan Ford, West 40 Auto Sales, WB Green Insurance, Abel's Electric, Southeastern Med, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, Valentine Insurance, and Beth A. Glass. And our post-game sponsor, Jet Auto. Final score, 53-36, Colts taking care of business on the home floor tonight. Picking up win number 6 for head coach Taryn Jarrett. 6-2 on the season. The Cats dropped to 3-5 for their new head coach, Kyle Pertussit. And of course, the Colts led it coast to coast. They jumped out 13-4 at the end of the first period and never let the Cats get close from that point on.
Yeah, you look at it and you look at the quarter-by-quarter scoring, and once you got past, right, once you got past the first quarter, the second quarter went 12-11, then 13-10, then 15-11. And so you had a really competitive game, quarter 2, 3, and 4. It's just that the hole that was dug to start the game is just such a large deficit that unless you find a way to start getting multiple stops and multiple scoring runs, it's hard to climb out. And so like a little piece in the stat book that kind of gets hidden from tonight is what kind of run as a team were we able to go on? Because when a team goes on an offensive run, it's a combination of what? Getting stops and making buckets, and you put them together to make your run. And so Meadowbrook had their largest or their longest run, so to speak, was an 8-0 run, probably early on in that first quarter when they really kind of set the tone. Cambridge only able to muster up a 6-0 run at some point in the game. And so you think about that, and it's just when that's your longest run, it's so hard to dig out of the hole.
Well, and to that point, the Colts have a run stopper, Jake Singleton. If his team goes a couple of possessions and doesn't score, he can typically do something about that himself. Certainly did tonight. Dropped in 26. The fewest points he had in any quarter was 5. 5 in the first, 5 in the second. Added 8 in the third and 8 in the fourth. As he got to the line a couple of times late, knocked down 3 threes. Easton Eibel got things started at the beginning of the game. You know, and you don't know if Jake might have said to him, look, hey, they're going to focus on trying to stop me. Everybody does. You find your spot. I'll kick it out to you or make sure you get it. Step into it and take it. Take that shot. And he knocks down 2 early threes that kind of set the early tempo for the Colts. And the Cats are like, well, wait a minute. We weren't thinking that's the guy
right.
We had to jump out on.
Well, but when that's your reaction, it makes you ask the question of what was your philosophy to start with? Were you going to let him to try to get to 40, or were you going to try to keep him as low as possible and let everybody else get something? Because you could turn that into a positive very easily. If your plan is to say, don't let him score and let's really get after everybody else, then you could actually come in at that moment and go to your team and really just say, hey, look, end of the first quarter, he had 5 points in terms of Jake Singleton. 2 for 3 from the field. They got their points from Eibel, and really you could be applauding your team saying that's exactly what we want. If we keep doing that the rest of the game, he might get frustrated and it might pay off for us. The biggest thing that I really took away as I watched Meadowbrook tonight in particular, we asked the question, or better yet, I asked the question, when you look at the rest of the team, who's the other person who steps up to help? Because of the fact that we talked about Dorsey, Webster, Hupp, right? We talked about all that experience and all that 6 to 12 point range, who's the person who steps up. And really what I think we really saw tonight is every quarter it was somebody else. I think it's very easy to say, certainly when Jake Singleton puts up 26, it's very easy to say, well, that's what it was. And that's very true. But you also turn around and you say Romeo Dorsey puts up 14 points, shoots 6 of 10 from the floor, looked really good offensively around the paint. And then you had Eibel hitting the 2 threes in the first quarter. You also saw, as the game kind of went on, you had Drew Webster in the fourth quarter became somebody who both offensively and defensively got some hustle plays, got a couple buckets. And really just you saw every quarter a different player saying, this is my time to be the third headed, the third head to the monster.
Whatever the team needs.
Yeah.
Whatever the team needed. And that was the case. Mail came in, made a couple of plays. He ended up with 3, 4 for Webster. As you said, in the second half, those came there. Hupp just played that other guy. He did the rebounding tonight, didn't have any points, but kind of did some of those things. And you got to be impressed with the whole game that Jake Singleton plays. The rebounding part of it we talked about. The defensive part, he came up with a lot of steals tonight.
Yep.
Dishes it out to his teammates. but just whatever's necessary. And even though he got into semi-foul trouble with 3 fouls, he never let himself get in a situation after that where he might get 4.
And then you flip it around for Cambridge, and certainly Caleb Bond playing extremely well today. Right, 16 points to lead the Cats, 6 of 10 from the field, 6 of 8 from the 2-point line, and 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Certainly made his mark, and I think that we saw flashes. Again, it's like when you have a car that's trying to turn over, right? And you feel that stutter, and you're like, oh, come on, baby, just get over that hump. Who's going to be that one? And you had moments. Obviously, Davion Jeffrey adding 6 points in, Cole Parsons adding 4 in, Caleb Campbell with a 3 toward the end of the game, Caden Moore with 2, Jonas Stansberry with 3, and Levin Pulaski with 2. Again, a lot of those different players had different moments where you thought they might get an easy bucket here, might get some confidence going, and just that little sputter continues to hold on. And whoever I think can really get that engine to turn over first is poised to have a great January for Cambridge.
Well, that's the other key is, Cambridge isn't going to have to play another team until they play the Colts again to have a player like Singleton.
Yeah.
That one guy that you just, no matter what you do, you can't slow him down.
Yeah.
He got 26 tonight, and he didn't really force the issue. Now, late, he was getting down the lane. Cambridge wasn't stopping him, and he was just taking it to the hoop. He got a lot more points down the stretch than he probably needed to. But to that point, he couldn't be stopped.
And we talked a lot about it during the game and at halftime. During the first half, he had a good half, but it wasn't a half to remember. And really, it was the third quarter for Singleton that really made you say, "Oh, there's what you were thinking." I'll tell you the other thing. If I'm Meadowbrook, kind of walking away from this game, I got to be really pleased with how Dorsey is playing. It's my first time seeing him play. I'm watching a kid here who it's his second year, right, of organized basketball, and there's just certain things that you can't teach a kid, and I saw 2 of them from him today, and the 2 of those are, number one, when you're a post player, if you have hands and feet, right, soft hands with a soft touch, quick feet, and you don't fall over yourself, you can't teach hands and feet. But the second thing is he had a bonehead play, all kids do, and he got immediately pulled for it and got subbed out, and the coach met him right at the baseline to give him an earful. And you can always tell how a kid responds, not just when they get back on the floor, but what's their body language like while they're taking their lashing? How do they walk back to the bench? Are they ready to come back in, or are they carrying that with them? And his response to it, that's coachability, and I'd be really excited about having him as an emerging second option for you, because you're not necessarily, if you're Meadowbrook, going to ask him to carry the weight, but if he creates an inside-outside game for you to complement Singleton and it's consistent, that becomes a tough animal to try to guard.
I was impressed. Not only his hands, but his ability to spin left and or right in the paint. So he could go baseline. He went to the middle a couple of times.
Yes.
And with that size, and obviously he can jump a little bit.
Yep.
He's going to give a lot of teams trouble who think that the Colts don't have anybody inside.
Yeah.
He got enough point to make you respect what they got in there. And Webster can do the same thing.
Yep.
He's just that off guy that he's there to help you when you need him. And I imagine if they fed him a little bit more, he could probably come up with double digits if you needed him.
Yeah.
Big game for the Colts tonight as they move to 6-2 on the season, 53-36 final over top of the Bobcats, who dropped to 3-5. Before we step out here, want to thank Adam Green and his team here for bringing us the video feed tonight. Brett Klein on the floor, Christian Mills up above, and back to station Braden there helping us stay on the air. There's so many wires and bells and whistles here. All we got to do is sit down and talk. They make it easy.
Listen, as I've told you from the start, I'm here to look pretty. All right, that's
why the camera's on the floor.
That's exactly right.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here to celebrate the holiday. Nice holiday crowd that showed up tonight to see part 1 of this rivalry that the Colts now make it 3 in a row last year, 1 to start this season. So they're back in tune, and we will be back in tune Thursday night at Gene Ford Court as the Bobcats host the John Glenn Muskies. The Catfish Challenge, Johnny Valentine in charge of getting a lot of that organized, and all-day basketball. If you're around, you can probably go to the Cambridge Middle School or High School and see basketball being played just about any time of the day. So I'm sure probably a lot of people have grandkids and kids involved in that. Great deal there for the youth and for our community. I want to thank those folks and you folks for staying tuned tonight and hanging in there with us. Final score once again, Meadowbrook 53, Cambridge 36 for the ABC Sports Team. I'm Bill Kafuri. Good night, everyone.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Doan Ford, West 40 Auto Sales, WB Green Insurance, Surgeon Construction, The Rogers Company, Stop 9 Church of Christ, Southeastern Med, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, Valentine Insurance, Bethany Glass CPA, and Papa John's Pizza. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports.